Let me ask you, have you ever found yourself thinking, why do some people manage to get rich even with a low income, while others, even with a great salary, are always in the red? It seems like a mystery, but let me tell you a secret. It has nothing to do with luck. The real difference lies in how these people manage their money. Warren Buffett, one of the richest and wisest men in the world, says that anyone can build wealth as long as they learn to work hard but intelligently. It's not enough to just work yourself to the bone, you know? You need a strategy. If you're earning a modest salary, don't worry. The important thing is not how much you earn, but what you do with that money. For example, imagine someone who earns $3,000 a month. If that person lives as if they earn $2,000 and invests the difference, in a few years, they could accumulate a real fortune. But most people do the opposite. As soon as their salary increases, their standard of living grows with it. They buy a new car, more stuff, and suddenly the money evaporates. Now the question is, will you continue in this cycle, or do you want to learn how to break out of it and create real wealth? Here's a lesson that many people ignore, but that makes all the difference. Live below your means. Do you know what that means? Basically, don't let yourself be tempted to spend more just because you're earning more. This is how most people end up sabotaging their finances. Look at Warren Buffett's example. He has been living in the same house since 1958. That's right. While many billionaires flaunt luxurious mansions, Buffett chose a simple lifestyle. Why? Because he knows that real wealth isn't about showing off to others, but about having financial freedom. Think about it. Earning $3,000 a month but living as if you earned $2,000 might seem like a sacrifice at first. But if you invest the difference, in 10 years, you'll be much more financially at ease. Now let me tell you a truth that no one talks about. Real luxury is not in imported cars, designer clothes, or the latest generation smartphones. Real luxury is financial freedom. Think with me. What's the point of having all that if you're always worried about your bank balance at the end of the month? What Warren Buffett teaches us is that financial freedom means being able to choose how to live your life without being tied down by bills or the pressure to appear successful to others. And do you know how to achieve that? With small daily habits. For example, if your phone is working fine, why change it every year? Keep using the same one as long as it lasts. Cooking meals at home can save you hundreds of dollars each month. If you spend $15 on lunch out in a month, that adds up to more than $300. Have you thought about it? Avoid impulse purchases. How many times do we buy something and days later realize we didn't need it that much? These small choices may seem simple, but over time they make a huge difference. While many people try to look rich, you will be investing in your future. And believe me, your future will thank you. Here's one of the biggest secrets that can change your financial life once and for all. Learn to save before spending. And it's not about saving what's left at the end of the month, because, let's be honest, hardly anything will be left, right? Warren Buffett always says, don't save what's left after spending, spend what's left after saving. It sounds simple, but this small change in mindset makes all the difference. Imagine the following. As soon as your salary hits your account, you automatically set aside a portion for savings or investment as if it were a mandatory bill. Let's talk numbers. If you earn $4,000 a month, set up an automatic transfer of 20% of that amount to a separate account. That means saving $800 on payday. At first, it may seem like a challenge. You'll think, but I need all this money to pay my bills. Believe me, you'll adjust. If you don't have a choice, you'll adapt quickly. It's like magic. When you make saving a priority, you'll find that you can live very well with what's left. Let me give you a practical example. Imagine you set up this automatic savings of $800 every month. In 1 year, you'll have saved $9,600 without even realizing it. And if you do this for 5 years, that amount could exceed $50,000, not to mention the earnings if you invest wisely. Now tell me, isn't that a great gift for your future? Another important tip, don't leave that money in the same account you use for daily expenses. If it's there, easily accessible, the temptation to spend will be huge. Put it in a separate account, preferably one that earns interest, like an investment fund or a secure savings account. That way, your money starts working for you. Remember, the secret isn't how much you earn, but how much you can save and grow. Those who save consistently build a solid foundation to face any unexpected events and take advantage of the opportunities life brings. Now think with me, what would you do if, suddenly, your salary was reduced by 30%? Most people would panic, but after the shock, they would adjust. They would cut expenses, make more conscious choices, and learn to live with less. And you know what's curious? Often these same people discover that they can live perfectly well this way. So why wait for an emergency to change your financial habits? What if you applied the same logic now, but with a more powerful purpose, investing in your future? Let's go for a practical example. Imagine you earn $5,000 a month. If you decide to live as if you earned $3,500, saving the difference of $1,500, in 1 year, you will have saved $18,000. And that's just the beginning. If you invest that amount in something with a reasonable return, it can grow quickly. But hold on, no one is saying you should stop living or give up everything. The idea isn't to make extreme sacrifices, but to make smarter choices. For example, instead of changing cars every 3 years, why not keep the current one longer? The money you save on payments can be used to build your wealth. Instead of dining out 5 times a week, try reducing it to 2. Besides saving money, you'll find that cooking at home can be fun and much healthier. And that subscription to services you barely use. Cancel it and redirect the amount to your financial reserve. With discipline, you can accumulate the equivalent of several months' salary in no time. This creates a powerful financial reserve that can be used to seize an investment opportunity, start a new business, or simply ensure your safety in difficult times. This reserve isn't just a number in your bank account, it's the peace of mind knowing you're prepared for whatever comes. It's the ability to make choices without the constant weight of debts or financial uncertainty. It's the freedom to follow your dreams. So the big question you need to ask yourself today is, am I living to impress others or to build a secure and happy future? Have you ever thought about what the you of the future would want to say to the you of today? It may seem like a simple idea, but this mindset is powerful when it comes to money. Every dollar you save now is like a gift to your future. It's like saying, hey, I'm taking care of you ahead of time. A lot of people think that only big salaries lead to wealth, but the truth is that the secret lies in consistency and discipline, not the initial amount. Warren Buffett always reinforces this. What matters isn't how much you earn, but how much you can keep and invest over time. Imagine you start saving $300 a month. It seems like little, right? But if you keep this up for 10 years, investing at an average return rate of 8% per year, you'll have over $55,000. Now imagine if you manage to increase this amount to $600 a month. In 20 years, this could turn into more than $350,000. And the most interesting thing, a good part of that amount will come from compound interest, meaning the money working for you. Let me tell you about Daniel, a friend who has always been careful with his finances. He started saving early, even earning little in the beginning of his career. While many colleagues spent everything they earned on new cars, designer clothes, and expensive trips, he stayed focused. You know what happened? By the age of 45, Daniel had accumulated enough money to choose whether he wanted to keep working or take a sabbatical year. He had what few can achieve, financial freedom. The difference between those who achieve this and those who don't is the decision to save before spending. Don't wait for leftover money at the end of the month to save. If you do that, you'll probably never have anything left. Do as Buffett teaches. Save first, then spend what's left. Here's a practical tip. Set up an automatic transfer of 20% to 30% of your salary directly to an investment account as soon as you get paid. This removes the temptation to spend and makes saving a habit. At first, it may seem difficult, but after a few months, you won't even miss the amount. Another way to think about this is to remember that every dollar saved today is a door you're opening for your future. Want to make that dream trip? Want to ensure a peaceful retirement? Want to start a business? All of that starts with the small decisions you make now. So don't see saving as deprivation, but as an act of self-care and self-love. It's like planting a seed. At first you won't see much progress, but over time it grows and turns into something much bigger. Imagine you receive your salary. The first thing that comes to mind is paying the bills, right? The electricity bill, rent, food, transportation. There are so many obligations that by the end of the month, it feels like there's little left for anything else. But what if I told you that the key to building wealth is doing exactly the opposite? That's right. Save first, pay expenses later. Warren Buffett always says something fundamental. Spend what's left after saving, not save what's left after spending. It seems like a simple reversal of priorities, but it's a shift in mindset that can transform your financial life. What happens with most people is that when they receive their paycheck, expenses take priority. The problem is, expenses always grow, and when there's money left, it's not enough to build a solid savings base. Now imagine if you made saving your number one priority right from the first day of the month. Wouldn't it be much smarter to pay yourself first before paying anyone else? What you need to do is set up an automatic transfer to a savings or investment account as soon as your salary hits your account. It could be 20% or even 30% of what you earn. This creates a rule for your money, making you pay yourself first. I know it might seem difficult at first. After all, the temptation to spend is strong, right? Often, you find yourself thinking, oh, I'll just use this money for that purchase I really want right now, or I'll make up for it later and save whatever's left. But the truth is that later almost never comes. The secret is to make saving first a habit. At the end of the month, when you look at your balance and realize you've saved a considerable amount, you'll see that you can live very well with the expenses that remain. Let's take João as an example. He has always struggled financially and wondered why it seemed like money never lasted. When he started applying Buffett's advice and made saving a priority, everything changed. João set up an automatic transfer of 15% of his salary at the beginning of the month. He started with a small amount, but discipline kept him going. In 1 year, he had accumulated an emergency fund of $10,000, and more importantly, he felt at ease knowing he was protected against the unexpected and ready to invest in new opportunities. But there's another benefit to this strategy. It teaches you to live within your means. By prioritizing savings, you automatically begin to reflect on what you really need to spend. That impulse purchase? No. Now you think twice before making it. That trip to an expensive destination? Maybe you can opt for something more affordable and still have a great time. Over time, you start to realize that true financial freedom isn't about spending without limits, but about knowing how to control your spending and making your money work for you. Remember, what you do now directly impacts the future. Saving isn't just about putting money aside, it's about building a strong foundation for the life you want. Now think about what you would do with the peace of mind that comes with knowing you have a solid savings reserve. Whether it's for emergencies, a big purchase, or even investment opportunities, Financial security comes from doing the right thing from the start. Save before you spend. Have you ever noticed how most people, even with increasing salaries, can't truly build wealth? This happens because, when they earn more, they start spending more. The mentality is simple. If the salary increases, life should improve as well. And then come impulse buys, lifestyle changes, things we think we need, but are just a reflection of societal pressure to show we've made it. Warren Buffett, on the other hand, has a completely different outlook. He teaches us something fundamental. Don't let your lifestyle adjust to your income. Instead, the secret is to live more simply, even when your income rises. Buffett, the world's most famous investor, has lived in the same house since 1958. And you know what's most impressive? He could have lived in luxurious mansions, but he chose to keep his life simple and focused on what truly matters, investing in the future. This principle of living below your means isn't just about saving for the sake of saving, but about taking control of your finances. When you choose to live with less than you earn, you create room to invest in your future. We're not talking about giving up comfort, but about making smart decisions that allow you to build wealth over time. Let's take a practical example to understand this. Let's say you earn $3,000 a month. If, instead of spending everything, you maintain the same lifestyle you had when you earned $2,000, you'll have $1,000 left over every month. This money won't just be saved, it'll be invested smartly. In 10 years, you could have accumulated $120,000. And with good investments, that amount can grow even more. Now imagine if you had started this saving and investing habit early. The difference in the future would be even more significant. And that's what makes the real difference, the discipline to not be swayed by the pressure to spend more when you earn more. Wealth isn't in what you flaunt, it's in what you build over time. What matters is what you save and invest. That's exactly what made the difference in Renata's life. She started working very young and over time received promotions that increased her income. But instead of buying a new car or making big changes to her house, she decided to continue living the same way, as if she were earning her previous salary. Instead of spending the raise, she invested it. Over time, she was able to accumulate a considerable fortune, giving her financial freedom that many dream of, but few achieve. So the next time you get a raise, remember, you don't have to spend more. Instead, prioritize what truly matters, building a solid foundation for your financial future. If you can live below your means and invest strategically, you're creating the foundation for a financially secure and prosperous life. Many people, when talking about luxury, think of expensive cars, designer clothes, big trips, or luxurious houses. These items are, no doubt, what society shows us as symbols of success and wealth. But what Warren Buffett teaches us, with his simple life focused on the future, is that true luxury is something much more valuable and lasting: financial freedom. Imagine the feeling of not having to worry about the next bill or your bank balance when the end of the month comes. When you achieve financial freedom, you have the ability to make decisions without being restricted by the lack of money. That's a luxury that isn't for sale in any store and can't be bought with any credit card. The path to this kind of luxury isn't about consuming more, but about spending wisely, prioritizing what really matters. Instead of focusing on what you can show to others, concentrate on building a wealth that allows you to live without relying on a monthly salary. This means you need to learn to make smart choices in your daily life so you can invest in what will truly bring long-term results. Small habits can make all the difference. For example, why upgrade your phone just because the new model was released if your current one is still working perfectly? Or why dine out every week when you can prepare healthy and budget-friendly meals at home? Buffett, for example, is known for keeping the same smartphone for many years without rushing to upgrade just because newer models hit the market. He knows that true luxury isn't in excessive consumption, but in keeping control of your finances, not being swayed by the consumer temptations society imposes. Another important point Buffett always highlights is the issue of impulse spending. How many times have you bought something you didn't really need just because it was on sale or because someone told you it was a must-have? He teaches that the key to financial freedom is resisting those impulses and focusing on what truly brings long-term value. Have you noticed that many times what we think is necessary is nothing more than something imposed by marketing or social comparison? When you stop following those trends, you start to discover a simpler lifestyle, but one that is much more rewarding and financially secure. The luxury that truly matters isn't having more things, but having more control over your financial life. It's being able to say no to an impulse purchase and instead invest that money in something that will bring a return in the future. It's being able to plan your life without the constant worry of where the next payment will come from. And the most powerful part is that this luxury doesn't require you to have a huge salary. It's accessible to anyone who makes conscious financial decisions and focuses on building wealth wisely. If you know where and how to invest, financial freedom is something that can be achieved with time, patience, and discipline. Now think about this. What if you started saving 20% to 30% of your salary right on the first day of the month? Imagine the impact over the course of a year. That saved money won't just generate more wealth for you, but it will also give you the necessary security to handle unexpected events and create new opportunities. But of course, it requires discipline. Sometimes the temptation to use the extra money can be strong, but remember, at the end of the day, every dollar you save is a way to invest in your own well-being and future. And over time, the savings will turn into an emergency fund, or even an amount that will allow you to make even more strategic investments. Now, going back to our story, imagine if you followed this advice for 5, 10, or 20 years. The impact would be transformative, not only financially, but also psychologically. You would stop being a prisoner of impulse consumption and take full control of your financial life. So remember, save before you spend is the foundation for any long-term wealth plan. And over time, you'll see that your financial freedom, your peace of mind, and your tranquility will go far beyond material things. What you build with discipline and patience is the true luxury. Now with that, we've reached the end of this video, but before finishing, I'd love to know what you think about all of this. Do you have any questions or suggestions for other finance topics? Leave a comment below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. And don't forget, if you liked the content, like the video and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss any valuable tips like this one. Turn on the notification bell to receive all updates and follow more stories that will transform the way you handle money. Let's grow together.